my loves, it's Glenda the Grieving Nomad. And yes, indeed, what a man Ibrahim Traore is. And if you're not familiar, I want to introduce you to the most important black man on the planet right now and explain to you why he needs the cover of our prayers and protections. The French government and the United States government have hired jihadists to unalive Ibrahim Traore. But let's find out who he is and why they want him unalived. Ibrahim Traore was born in Mahon province on the 14th of March in 1988. As a fellow Pisceans, I can say no one loves as hard as a Pisces. And this man loves his people, his country, and his continent. And he will be a powerful force for the West to contend with, because they move out of greed, and this man is moving out of pure love. In high school, he was known for being quiet and very talented. He studied geology in university, was part of the Association of Muslim Students and the Marxist Association of Burkina, where he rose to delegate and became known for defending his classmates in disputes. He graduated from university with honors. Ibrahim joined Burkina Faso's military in 2009. He was sent to Morocco for anti-aircraft training before being transferred to an infantry unit. He was promoted to lieutenant in 2014. Ibrahim joined the United Nations Multidimensional Integrated Stabilization Mission in Mali, the most dangerous United Nations peacekeeping mission up to date. In 2018, he was cited as one of the soldiers who showed extreme courage during major rebel attacks. He returned to Burkina Faso, where he assisted in operations against the escalating jihadist insurgency. Ibrahim Traore fought in several counterinsurgency operations in his country's north. In 2020, he was promoted to captain. He said that he became disillusioned with his country's leadership around this time. He saw the widespread lack of equipment for soldiers, while politicians were handing out suitcases of money for bribery. Being the natural defender he was in his youth, he gradually became the spokesman for soldiers stationed in the north who were frustrated over their government. Traore is said to have been part of the group of army officers who supported the January 2022 coup and brought the patriotic movement for safeguard and restoration military to power. From March 2022, he served as the head of an artillery regiment. Ibrahim and other officers had tried to get Damibi, the leader of the January coup, to refocus on the rebellion to strengthen Burkina Faso, but eventually opted to overthrow him because his ambitions were straying from what they originally had set out to do. The dissatisfaction about the situation was highest among the younger officers who fought against the rebels at the front lines. When the second coup took place on the 30th of September, Ibrahim still held the rank of captain. And in the direct aftermath of the coup, he was chosen as the new head of the patriotic movement for safeguard and restoration. On the 6th of October, as head of state, he also assumed the position of interim president and the supreme head of the armed forces. As President Traore has maintained the very formal behavior which he had already been known for prior to his rise to power. In February of 2023, Traore's government expelled the French forces assisting and fighting the local insurgencies from Burkina Faso, later expelling the French citizens. He subsequently declared that his nation wanted to look to other horizons because they wanted to win-win, supporting the diversification of Burkina Faso's international partnerships. Shortly after, the Burkina Faso government expressed support for a federation with Mali, and both countries invited Guinea. All three countries are under military leadership, and it is feared by the West that if they were to become a union, they would become the largest country ruled by junta. And to replace the French military support, Traore forged close ties with Turkey and Russia. On April 23rd, he declared a general mobilization of the population to support the military as rebel forces continue to increase the rate of their attacks. On July 29th of 2023, following the 2023 Russia-African Summit, Traore said that the people of his country support Russia and communicated that a decision has been made to reopen the Russian embassy, which was closed in 1992. Since the French withdrawal, Russian mercenaries have been seen providing protection for Traore and reportedly supporting operations near the border of Mali. However, only 100 to 300 Russian forces have been sent to Burkina Faso. This suggests that the focus is on regime security for Traore to prevent unaliving attempts by the French, Americans, and jihadist terrorists. The country has mineral resources and produces substantial quantities of gold, zinc, magnesium, copper, phosphate, and limestone. It also has large reserves of diamond, nickel, and vanadium, most which have managed to remain largely unexploited. According to the 2023 and 24 Human Development Report, Burkina Faso is classified as having low human development and is ranked 185th out of 193 countries on the Human Development Index. It placed 149th out of 167 countries on the 2024 Sustainability Development Goals Index, and on the Multidimensional Poverty Index, 65.5% of the population is multidimensionally poor in one extremely rich country. Ibrahim's regime, for the time being, is favoring the use of its own forces in the fight against the jihadists and has not asked Russia for help. But Russian troops, including the Wagner Group, were eventually deployed to Burkina Faso in January 2024. On the 26th of September 2023, dissatisfied elements of the military led a failed attempted coup against Ibrahim and his forces. Under Ibrahim's leadership, in November 2023, Burkina Faso's Council of Ministers approved the construction of the country's first gold refinery. Traore wants to gain more control over Burkina Faso's gold resources by refining gold domestically rather than exporting unrefined materials. In February 2024, Ibrahim ordered the suspension of issuance of export permits for small-scale private gold production, a move reportedly aimed at tackling illicit trade, which consists of smuggling gold abroad, avoiding taxes and regulations, and cleaning up the gold sector, ensuring that imported gold is properly documented and contributes to the government's revenue. There have been over 3,059 violent events linked to militant Islamist groups since he came into power in October 2022. And this is a 20% increase in comparison to 2 years preceding the coup. And the number of fatalities linked to militant Islamist violence nearly doubled from 3,621 in 22 to 6,389 in 2024. So why are they so desperate to unalive Traore? Over 2 years, President Ibrahim Traore has grown Burkina Faso's GDP from 18.8 billion to 22.1 billion. He's rejected loans from the IMF and the World Bank. He said Africa doesn't need the World Bank, IMF, Europe, or America. He's reduced the salaries of ministers and parliamentarians by 30% and increased the salaries of the civil servants by 50%. He paid off Burkina Faso's local debts. He established 2 tomato processing plants, the first ever in Burkina Faso. In 2023, he inaugurated a state-of-the-art gold mine enhanced locale processing capabilities. He stopped the export of unrefined Burkina Faso gold to Europe. He built Burkina Faso's second cotton processing plant. Previously, the country only had 1. He opened the first ever National Support Center for artisanal cotton processing to assist local cotton farmers. He banned the wearing of British legal wigs and gowns in local courts and introduced traditional Burkinabe attire. He prioritized agriculture by distributing over 400 tractors, 239 tillers, 710 motor pumps, and 714 motorcycles to boost production and support to rural stakeholders. He provided access to improved seeds and other farm inputs to maximize agricultural output. Tomato production in Burkina Faso increased from 315,000 metric tons in 22 to 360,000 metric tons in 2024. Millet production rose 907,000 metric tons in 2022, 1.1 million metric tons in 2024. Rice production increased 280,000 metric tons in 22, 326,000 metric tons in 2024. He banned the French military operations in Burkina Faso. He banned French media in Burkina Faso. He expelled French troops from Burkina Faso. His government is constructing new roads, widening existing ones, and upgrading gravel roads to paved surfaces. He's building new airport, which is expected to be completed in 2025 with the capacity to handle 1 million passengers annually. He's building free housing for all citizens. In an effort to replace USA aid, he sent rice, potable water, sugar, cooking oil, school supplies, and medicine to 7 struggling African nations: Nigeria, Mali, Chad, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Central African Republic, and South Sudan. The immediate priority is addressing terrorism, which results in the loss of about 40% of the country's territory, undermining the state's authority and ability to deliver public services, as thousands of schools and health facilities are closed in those areas. The UN Refugee Agency estimates that over 2 million people are internally displaced, and those needing humanitarian assistance increased by 35% between 2022 and 2023. Building strong institutions and strengthening existing ones to improve public sector efficiency and combat corruption are the current focus. Local governments must be empowered with the resources and capacity to implement development programs tailored to the community's needs. In addition, he's built an alliance with Tanzania and South Africa and wants to build a United States of Africa, combining the knowledge, riches, resources, and talents of the continent as one unifying force. With Ibrahim Traore's Burkina Faso has a chance to get its governance right, achieve its developmental aspirations, and this could be a lasting legacy for Traore's regime, Africa, and the world. And for this reason, it is so important for us to cover this man with our prayers and pray that he is successful, because his success over there will translate to over here. stitch in. He also built a cashew nut factory that employs over 40,000 people, as well as has donated his salary, which is the equivalent of 85,000 American dollars, but 42 million of their dollars plus, to orphans, single mothers, widows, and the sick. Please follow, subscribe, share, and like. I love you guys. Peace. And peace to Burkina Faso also. And God bless Ibrahim Traore. Good luck, man. We love you.